That's a truly great achievement.
Dr. George Smith made history today.
He accepted the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. He's the first MU researcher to earn the distinction.
We have exclusive live team coverage, including a reporter in Stockholm, Sweden.
You'll hear from Dr. Smith on the accomplishment.
You'll hear from MU faculty who know Smith.
What a wonderful day for Mizzou.
And we'll tell you what it means for MU financially.
It's a great recruiting tool for us.
This is KOMU 8 News at 10.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
A historic day for MU as one of its own was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry earlier today. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. Dr. George Smith accepted the award in Stockholm with celebrations both there and here. We've had team coverage all day. Up first tonight, KOMU 8 Savannah Rudisell live in Stockholm, where the after party is almost over.
Good morning, Jim and Emily. It is just now 5 a.m. here in Stockholm, Sweden, and the official Nobel after party is just now wrapping up as this rain is starting to come down. This is close to the end of a week full of international celebration. Now, the whole time that MU has been on this world stage, Dr. George Smith has really been keeping that down-to-earth attitude that helped him make this discovery.
Frances Arnold, one of this year's chemistry laureates, with George Smith and Sir Gregory Winter.
With a level of honor only the Nobel Foundation can bestow, most scientists would be over the moon. But Dr. George Smith is a bit more grounded than that.
Well, I feel pleased, of course. I mean, it's who wouldn't be pleased?
His friends and family are too.
You know, George and I have a really good marriage.
Margie Sable knows the man behind the award better than anyone.
The Nobel Prize is nice, and it's kind of like the icing on the cake. But the cake was pretty good before, without the icing. He also cares very deeply about the people he works with in all aspects of his life.
Smith says the researchers and former students who came to Stockholm with him are like family.
He demanded hard work, but he worked really hard himself, and it was hard not to respect him.
They say his lessons are ones they'll always remember.
George really gave me a strong foundation for how to do research and how to think about problems.
You just slog through it, and you make mistakes and realize that approach won't work, and you think of another. But that's part of the reason why, on a pretty much a daily basis, there was lots of conversation.
The Nobel Foundation recognized the sort of foundation Smith provided for the scientific community.
You know, for the latter parts of our careers, that we would like to do something that is useful for the world in general, and make whatever pitiful contribution we can to that.
The last big event for the laureates here in Sweden is a royal banquet held tomorrow at the palace. Reporting live in Stockholm, I'm Savannah Rudisell, KOMU 8 News.
Savannah, thank you very much. 5 o'clock in the morning there. Back in Columbia, MU faculty, staff, and students celebrated the Nobel ceremony. KOMU 8's Kara Strickland spoke to a faculty member who says the notoriety hasn't gone to Dr. Smith's head.
There was a lot of excitement here on MU's campus today. Students and faculty enjoyed the former professor's big day.
A watch party overflowed with support for the Nobel Prize winner. But Smith doesn't seem to be affected by the fame.
Since he won the Nobel Prize, he hasn't stopped. I asked him to come give a guest lecture in my microbiology class, and he got it on the schedule before he left to go to Sweden.
Assistant Professor Pamela Brown says Smith's passion for science has made it hard to keep him out of the classroom.
If anything, it's harder for him to let go than some of the other folks I've seen retire and move on.
And as for a celebration when he gets back,
he's pretty humble. I would be surprised if he wants to do much more.
Brown says there's still one more thing she is waiting to see.
We'll all be anxious to get a sneak peek at his award, the medal itself, so we'll see what happens.
Brown says she and her students have been tweeting and texting Dr. Smith all throughout the day to let him know how proud they are. Reporting live in Columbia, Kara Strickland, KOMU 8 News.
Now that MU has a Nobel Prize winner, the university hopes the news will attract more students. The school says it wants to do that in 3 ways. First, to educate people on Dr. Smith's discovery of the phage display through the university's website and on social media. Number 2, the university is pouring more money into research. In the next 5 years, MU wants to double research funding from $200 million to $400 million. The final step, building a new medical complex with more laboratories and research workspace in the next 3 years.
Jefferson City residents came together tonight to question a possible new healthcare merger. Over 100 people showed up, and KOMU8's Travis Breeze is here now in the studio with some of their concerns.
That's right. People showed up in force tonight as they filled this gym in Jefferson City to learn about the merger. SSM Health operates St. Mary's Hospital right now, but company executives say they don't want to anymore because it's usually not full. And MU Healthcare has come in and said that it will operate the hospital, taking charge of both hospitals in Jefferson City. This is where patients say they start to see problems. Some think a one-choice environment could lead to a monopoly with increased costs and doctors possibly leaving the area. Both sides agree, though, that the number of people that came tonight is a good thing.
It's great. I mean, we as a community need to make sure that our voices are heard so they just don't think that, you know, everybody thinks that this is a great idea.
Building off upon the wonderful community spirit that is here in Jefferson City is a great thing and will help us be able to recruit more nurses and more physicians that want to stay here.
MU Healthcare believes that with enough feedback, it can reach a solution. They say they hope for just as big of a turnout at their next open forum on this issue, which is Wednesday morning in Mexico. In the studio, Travis Breeze, KOMU8 News.
The debate over redrawing school boundary lines in Columbia continued tonight. The school board discussed the changes with the opening of a new middle school in 2020. KOMU8's Kasha Carriage was at tonight's meeting. She listened to what the students were saying.
Emily, this discussion has been going on for months as the district deals with growing pains. And tonight I learned there's a new timeline in place for reaching that final decision. The school board announced tonight it will release 3 different maps with options for new attendance areas next Thursday. Then the focus groups, made up of teachers, students, and parents, will recommend what option they think is best to the board in February. And finally, the district hopes to have a decision by this spring. It's an emotional decision for students tied to the high school they currently attend. To put it simply, they don't want to leave their classmates and friends, and for one Rockbridge freshman, her cheer team.
Switching schools, I think, would just be kind of redundant for all the work that I've put in to make Rockbridge.
The district will hold open houses January 9th through the 11th for community members to give their input. The locations for those are on our website, KOMU.com. In the studio, Kasha Carriage, KOMU8 News.
A Columbia school is mourning the loss of a teenager killed in a weekend car crash. 17-year-old Bryce Hill was a senior at Christian Fellowship School. Hill was a standout student in his small class of 18 students. Principal Scott Williams says Hill made a difference in the lives he got to know even much younger students.
Seniors have pen pals with our first graders, and so he had a connection with a first grader as they exchange correspondence, but also they meet on occasion and talk about what they're reading and just love each other.
Funeral arrangements have not been finalized. The shooter in April's black and gold bar fight will spend 7 years in prison. Miles Hillegas was arrested in May after he shot and hit a man in the bar's parking lot. He admitted to being under the influence during the shooting and pled guilty. The Boone County judge sentenced him to the maximum length allowed.
Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft is asking the auditor to investigate Senator-elect Josh Hawley's campaign. Ashcroft is requesting Nicole Galloway investigate allegations that Hawley misused public resources to boost his Senate bid. Ashcroft agreed to investigate the claim last week, but is now turning to the auditor's office since they have subpoena power. Galloway's office says they are reviewing the Secretary of State's letter. Hawley sent a letter responding to Jay Ashcroft's office today. The letter denies the complaint filed by the American Defense Legal Fund. And today, Josh Hawley says he is working with 40 state attorney generals to stop robocalls. You know, those repeat calls from a robot. The group is looking into the technology that allows this to happen and might make recommendations to the FCC. Coming up, President Trump talks about his former personal attorney's claims.
And temperatures are in the middle and upper 20s right now. And as we head into our day tomorrow, we're really going to warm up. It's going to be a beautiful one there. I'm tracking that for you. Plus, we're looking ahead to our next rain chance. It's a good one, too. I'll track it hour by hour. Coming up later.
New video tonight is causing public outrage. The clip you just saw shows police trying to arrest a mother while pulling her child from her arms. Multiple New York police officers tried to pull this woman's one-year-old son out of her arms at Brooklyn's social services office. She says there was nowhere in the office to sit, so she sat on the floor with her child. Officers asked her to leave, and she refused. She is still in jail after facing 4 criminal charges plus an arrest warrant from New Jersey. NYPD and the Brooklyn DA are both investigating. The departments also described the video the same way, troubling.
President Trump denies he told his former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, to pay off 2 women who said they had affairs with him. Cohen will be sentenced Wednesday for violating campaign finance laws and tax evasion. He says he paid the women at the president's request, but the president denies that and says the affairs never happened. Trump's supporters say it was Cohen who broke the law.
If you hire an attorney to deal with your issues, you assume that attorney is going to follow the legal bounds.
The president also says former FBI Director James Comey lied repeatedly to House members during a closed-door meeting on Friday. States across the Southeast are still digging out of record-breaking snow. In West Virginia, parts of the state got nearly 18 inches of snow. In North Carolina, schools and businesses closed today because of the winter weather. Many are without power. Temperatures will fall again tonight, meaning melted snow could refreeze and create black ice conditions.
We're looking ahead to your flight forecast tomorrow. We're not looking at any delays in these locations. Temperatures largely in the 50s, 62 though in Dallas, down to 36 in Chicago. We'll keep you updated with our full forecast right after the break.
Plus, why Google is shutting down its social networking site Google Plus earlier than planned. Google Plus will shut down after discovering bugs that caused major privacy concerns.
The company planned to shut the site down in April, but the recent discovery will speed up the process. The company says 52.5 million users were affected. The bug was in the social network's November software update. Google says the bug exposed customers' private information for 6 days, but Google says it has not found any evidence of misuse. The company also had another big bug in October of this year, affecting 500,000 users.
The Better Business Bureau says scammers are extra busy during the holiday period. These scams are for fake products, fake charities, or are looking to install malware into your computer. The BBB says the best way to combat these scams is to research where your money is going. If it is going to a charity, look up the charity name and make sure it has a phone number and a physical address. If not, it may be a sign of a scam. A spokesperson for the Columbia Police Department says he was targeted himself by a scammer just earlier today.
For example, today alone, I've received 2 phone calls about my credit card debt, okay? They asked me for my credit card number and my social security number to confirm my account, and I immediately hung up.
The BBB has resources on its website to help people spot scams. You can also call them to help you research any potential scams.
A crosstown rivalry game, Father Tolton at Hickman. We've got highlights coming up next in sports.
Now here's what we're following for KOMU8 News today, the latest on Jefferson City's newest high school.
What district leaders are saying about an agreement with the city. We'll have a preview tomorrow morning. Kenton.
All right, well, also tomorrow we're going to lose 1 more minute of daylight. We're getting very close to the darkest time of the year. That's actually going to start a week from tomorrow, next Tuesday. So for tomorrow, we have 9 hours and 29 minutes of daylight. Next Tuesday, we start with only 9 hours and 26 minutes of daylight, and we'll be at that low level of daylight for about a week until Christmas Day, and then we start adding more time back in. Otherwise, we're at 25 degrees here at sunrise, then up to 54 tomorrow afternoon. Enjoy your day on Tuesday. It's going to be pretty nice still, at least through Wednesday, and then on Thursday and Friday we have this rainfall that's going to be rolling through, but we're dry for the weekend.
Perfect day for last-minute decorating outside for the holidays.
You know, usually about this time of the year we have a little contest here, in-house contest about how many big snows we'll get. Well, we've already had some snows.
I was like, we should have done that on Halloween.
I know. Maybe we're a little bit too late. I don't know. But this warm trend here, that'll be nice.
Yes, I think a lot of people will really enjoy tomorrow for sure. A lot of good moods.
That is our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
online, on Facebook.